Hi there! In this video, I'm gonna show you how to make remarkable rainbow truffles in 5 simple steps. Let's get started. All right, so step number 1. To this medium mixing bowl, I have added 2 cups of white chocolate morsels. And next, we're gonna add a half a cup of heavy whipping cream. Now I'm gonna microwave this for 1 minute and then let it sit for 1 minute and take it out of the microwave and mix it up. Now that we've warmed the chocolate in the microwave and let it sit for an additional minute, that additional minute was actually just to help the warmed cream start to melt the chocolate without having to overcook it. So now we're gonna mix it up and see if everything is nice and smooth and melted. So all the white chocolate has been fully melted into the chocolate and cream mixture. If you have any little specks of white, that's just white chocolate pieces that haven't fully melted in. So you're gonna pop it back in the microwave for an additional 10 to 15 seconds, take it out, stir it and check it again, and keep doing that back and forth until you get your mixture fully melted. You don't wanna do too long in the microwave at a time or else you're gonna burn your chocolate. If you burn your chocolate at any point during this process, you have to scrap everything and restart. Just go a little bit at a time and it'll be perfect. Now that our white chocolate is completely melted, we're gonna add a pinch of salt, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, and this is because white chocolate doesn't actually contain cocoa, so it tends to be very, very sweet. So I like to add salt to white chocolate to help balance out that, a little extra. I like to balance that out because it just can be overwhelmingly sweet sometimes. So I like to add that in there to help balance out the sweetness and also kind of bring out a little more of the flavor. So we're gonna mix that in there. All right, this looks great. Now that we've mixed in our salt, we're gonna go on to step 2 and divide the white chocolate mixture into 6 separate bowls. When adding the mixture to the bowls, you don't have to be super accurate, just use your best estimation as you put it in. Now that we've evenly divided the mixture into the 6 separate bowls, we're gonna add a little bit of food gel to each bowl. A little bit goes a long way when it comes to food gels because it's like a concentrated food coloring. So just add a little bit at a time. If you need to add more, it's perfectly fine. Now that you've mixed in all your colors, we're gonna put plastic cling film over the top of these. And make sure that when you're covering your bowls with plastic cling film, that you press down on the top. You're gonna wanna do this with each of the bowls of colored white chocolate mix because if you leave it exposed to air, it forms this kind of skin on top. So to prevent that, pressing the saran wrap down right on top of it will make sure that doesn't happen. So do that with the rest of your bowls. Pop them in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes to an hour and then check on them to see if they've fully firmed up. Once your ganache is fully set, you're gonna remove all of the plastic wrap from each of the bowls, and then you're gonna take a little bit of each color and combine them together. Using the palm of your hands, you're gonna roll them into a ball, and then you're gonna put them on a piece of parchment paper on a sheet tray. So let's get to it. And when rolling truffles, I like to have gloves on. You can use your hands as long as you wash them very thoroughly, and you can use food gloves, but nitrile gloves are my favorite. It might just be because I'm used to it from science class back in college, but that's what I'm using because that's what I prefer. It also is not slippery as much and it doesn't slide off as easily as the food service gloves. So that's why I also prefer these, and I also just like to keep my hands clean. So that's what I'm using to roll the balls together. Okay, so we're gonna take this and roll it together in the palm of our hand. Just like that. And place that on our parchment paper. And we're going to continue doing that with the rest of them. You can even take them and kind of swirl the colors together and kind of make like a swirled rainbow or even a tie-dye kind of looking one. So when you bite into it, everything is swirled together rather than being little pieces. So let's try that one too. Once all your ganache is rolled into truffle balls and on the sheet tray, we're gonna pop this in the freezer for about 10 minutes just to let the ganache kind of harden a little bit, and then we're gonna work on our coating. For coating these truffles, you can use anything like white tempered chocolate or even candy melts. Today I'm using some Ghirardelli white vanilla flavored melting wafers. So I like these because you can just put them in the microwave, melt them in little increments and stir in between, and then you're good to go. If you use something like Wilton, that's perfectly fine too, but you might have to add a little bit of vegetable oil in order to thin it out so it doesn't get clumpy on the outside of the truffle. So let's pop this in the microwave. We're gonna go about 30 seconds to begin with, stir it, and then continue that until it's fully melted. This looks perfect. So just like with your ganache during the truffle process, if you burn your candy melt at any point, you have to scrap everything and restart. So make sure that you cook it in small increments. I usually start with about 30 seconds, and then I decrease it from there each cooking time. So the next one will be 20 seconds, and the next couple might be 15 seconds apiece. In addition to the white chocolate coating, we're also gonna be adding a little bit of rainbow sprinkles on top just for a little bit of color. So we have some Wilton rainbow sprinkle mix right here. I think this is adorable. You can also use the little rainbow pearls or little rainbow jimmies, I think is what they're called, little sticks. But this was just too cute to pass up when I was looking at Joann's online. So we're gonna go with this one today. So now that these have been sitting in the freezer for about 10 to 15 minutes, they've firmed up pretty nicely. Some of them are a little bit spiky. That just means that they got a little bit too soft when you're rolling them. So sometimes with clean hands, I like to just roll them really quick just to kind of get them into that last little ball shape. So we're gonna do that really quick. Just give them a quick little roll. The heat from your hands will warm up it just enough to make it nice and smooth on the outside. Just like that. Now that we've fully smoothed out the truffle balls, we're gonna pop these back in the freezer for another 5 minutes just to firm up again before we put the coating on. Our truffle balls have firmed up a little bit, so now we're gonna coat them in the candy melts. So I'm gonna use a stick that I actually usually use for a cake tester, but this works really well too. And then I use a fork to help pop it off of the stick. So if at any point your truffles seem like they're getting a little bit too soft, just remember to put them into the freezer to firm up a little bit more before you continue, because you don't want them kind of falling apart while you're trying to coat them. When you're doing your coating, you only want to do about 2 to 3 truffles at a time before you add the sprinkles, to make sure the sprinkles will adhere before the coating fully sets. So let's get to it. These are starting to warm up a bit too much, so I'm going to pop them in the freezer before I continue with coating them. If your coating starts to get solid, you want to pop it into the microwave and heat it for about 15 to 20 seconds just to make it liquidy again before you finish off your truffles. Now that our truffles are fully coated, let's cut into one and see what it looks like. One of my favorite things about these truffles is that on the outside they look super simple and plain, but on the inside it's like bam, a rainbow explosion. Let's give these a try. These are so good. They have such a luscious, rich texture. It's like a perfect, really silky, smooth truffle texture. I actually usually prefer dark chocolate truffles when I have truffles, but these are really good and they're just really, really fun to look at and really fun to eat. These would be perfect to give to someone as a gift or even to make at home if you have kids. They would be perfect because it actually kind of looks like edible Play-Doh, so kids would have a blast with these, and they're super simple, so they would be perfect for kids to try out too. I hope that you give this recipe a try because these are so fun, delicious, and gorgeous. The recipe will be available on my website, adventuresandyum.net. Please make sure to like and share this video. I put out new videos every Friday, so please subscribe to my channel for more fantastic treats and eats. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had so much fun and I hope that you did too, and I can't wait to see you on our next food adventure.